Okay, so when you hear the words high-stakes player auction, you're probably thinking about pro sports, right? Million-dollar deals, huge stadiums. But what if I told you that same level of drama, strategy, and big spending was happening at a local apartment complex? Yeah, today we're diving into an auction where neighborhood bragging rights cost a lot more than you'd think.
It's really the ultimate question in any sport, isn't it? From the big leagues all the way down to a friendly tournament. How do you put a price tag on skill, on talent, on someone's ability to help you win it all? Well, in this particular league, the answer is kind of shocking. Get ready for a number you probably won't see coming. 15,000. And no, that's not for the whole team. That's the price for a single player. In an amateur league, a number like that just makes you stop and ask, what is going on here? So let's get some context. All right, welcome to the Elegance Apartments Badminton Premier League, or EBPL, Season 2. Now, the whole idea behind this league was pretty simple. Just get residents together, have some fun, and play some competitive badminton. But as you're about to see, things got very serious very fast.
So here's the basic setup. You've got 6 teams, and each team needs 6 players. That's 36 players in total. But here's the kicker. Every single one of those spots was filled during one single high-pressure event, the player auction. This is where all the money, the strategy, and the rivalries really began.
And that brings us to the heart of our story today, the elite group of players who went for over 10,000 points. These are the big names, the players that team captains were ready to completely break the bank for. So let's count down the top 5 most expensive players from the auction.
Kicking things off at number 5, we've actually got a tie. 2 players, Gopi Gudamala and Pinko Naveen, were in such high demand that they both started some pretty intense bidding wars. So what was their final price?
$10,500 for both of them. That price really set the bar for what top-tier talent was going to cost in this league. And just remember, we're only at number 5. It gets crazier from here.
Coming in at number 4 is Jafazike. Now, the bidding for him was fierce, and it created a clear price gap, pushing him into a whole new level as one of the league's most valued assets.
11,000. So that's a pretty big jump from 5th place. You can already see how the prices are climbing as we get closer and closer to the number 1 spot.
All right, we're into the top 3. Landing at number 3, we have Ravichandra. You'll notice he's got that pro status next to his name, which basically means he's one of the best of the best. That made him a huge target for any team that was serious about winning the championship.
12,000. See, at a price like this, a team's entire strategy starts to change. You're now dedicating over a third of your whole budget to just one person. That's a massive gamble, and we'll talk more about that in just a second.
The runner-up for the most expensive player in the entire league is Suresh. He's another one with that pro status, and you can bet the battle to sign him was intense, pushing his final price tag way up there.
$13,000. You know, when you spend this much, you're not just buying a player anymore. You're making a statement. You're basically building your whole team around this one person. But believe it or not, even that incredible amount wasn't the highest bid of the night. And here he is, the number 1, the most valuable, most expensive player in the entire auction. The guy that every single team captain wanted, but only one could possibly afford, Srikanth.
15,000. The number that started this whole thing. That one massive bid made Srikanth the undisputed face of the tournament, and it also put a giant target on his team's back. So, who paid for all this talent?
This table tells us exactly where the stars ended up. You can see the shuttle strikers went all in, spending that huge $15,000 on Srikanth. But then look at the elegance champions. They snagged 2 of the top 6 players, Ravichandra and Naveen. That shows a totally different strategy, right?
So let's zoom out a bit from the individual players and really dig into the team strategies. With so much money being thrown at these top guys, how did that affect how they built out the rest of their rosters? Well, it all came down to one very important rule.
Here it is. Every single team had the exact starting budget, 30,000 points to build a 6-player squad. This is the key. This is the constraint that forces the tough decisions. Do you go big for a superstar, or do you spread that money around for a more balanced team? And this is where you can really see those different philosophies at work. I mean, every team spent at least $10,000 on their top player. But the shuttle strikers, they took it to a whole other level, dropping a massive $15,000 on Srikanth. Let's visualize what that actually means for their budget.
50%. The Shuttle Strikers spent exactly half of their entire budget on one player. That is a huge risk, but it could have a huge reward. It meant they only had 15,000 left to get their other 5 players. Now compare that to the Elegance Warriors, who spent about a third on their top guy. That left them with way more flexibility.
So, you might be wondering, how did all this even work? Well, this wasn't just some chaotic room with people shouting out numbers. Nope. The league used a pretty slick digital platform to keep everything organized, transparent, and fair.
It was a system called PAPA, which stands for Player Auction Platform for All, and it was a really simple 4-step process. A player's name comes up at random, you see their profile, the teams place their bids, and bam, they're either sold or put on hold. The system even checked budgets in real time to make sure nobody could overspend. Pretty cool.
So after all was said and done, after all the bids were in and the budgets were empty, we were left with 6 very unique teams. Each one was built with a totally different game plan. You've got the Shuttle Strikers banking everything on their superstar, while other teams went for a more balanced approach. And that leaves us with the ultimate question. Or maybe a better way to put it is, does spending half your budget on one single player actually guarantee you a championship? The auction is over, sure, but the real test is just about to begin on the court. We'll just have to wait and see if the price of victory is paid with auction points or with actual wins.